Hello, ladies and gentlemen, how are you? I'm sure you all know about this, you've all been watching the news, but Donald Trump has introduced tariffs against various countries, and this has had a huge ripple effect and a huge negative ripple effect into the stock market. As of Friday, $5 trillion was wiped off the stock market. This is very bad news. This is very concerning. This could easily trigger a global recession. In fact, I only read an article from Morgan Stanley confirming that they thought there could be a 40% chance on Wednesday. They thought there could be a 60% chance on Thursday, and now they're saying without a doubt there will be a recession. So I cannot stress enough to you now how much you need to retain control over your property. Regardless of how good or strong we think the Dubai market is, if the superpowers around the world go into recession, this will affect Dubai and prices will start dropping. So the minute you put a long-term tenant in, you've lost control over your asset, and if you want to sell, because prices could easily drop 5, 10, 15, 20, 30% in a year, as quickly they could drop as quickly as they've gone up. You want control over that property to make sure that you can do viewings and you can sell it. Now, something like this will have some sort of aftermath effect, and that will be a long period of time. So don't expect in the next week everything to go back to normal. That is not going to happen. This is going to be a very large issue for the global economy for a very long time. You need to retain control over your property, and the short let business offers that. It gives you control, allows you to give access to your property when you want to do viewings, because what we don't want to see is if prices do start dropping, you've put a long-term tenant in and you can't get access. I've got one client at the moment, he's got a sale on a property, the mortgage bank want to go and do a valuation. The tenant has said, no, you can do it when I leave, which is actually in February 2026. So that owner has sat there saying, what can I do? And I said, well, there's very little you can do. You can send them some strong worded letters, but by all rights, they don't have to let you in. And if you want to go down the court route, that's going to cost you tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dirhams, and will probably take you 6 to 9 months anyway. So please think not about today, think about tomorrow. What is the plan with the asset? What are you going to do with it? So how do I personally foresee this unfolding? I don't know. I was in effectively a crash which was happening in Dubai between 2018 right up to 2022, where prices were dropping on average 5-10% a year. I mean, I've seen these things happen, but I've never seen this level of market volatility. When you talk about a 5 trillion wipeout of value on stocks, that's more than what we saw in COVID. That's how serious this is, and COVID was a global pandemic. So please reach out to us if you have any concerns or any questions or anything like that, but think very logically about what your plan is, let's say for the next 2 years, because remember, you put a tenant in, it's a 12-month contract and then a 12-month notice. 24 months, you can't, or potentially can't get access to your property. What you want to do is stay nimble, and I've said this before, you want to make sure that if you are selling your property, it's in the best possible light. What I mean by that is that it's chain-free, it's ready to go, there's easy access for real estate agents, etc. That is what the short let model offers you. Thank you very much and have a great day.